Alright, so after just a few days of procrastination, I finally made it a trip to go and see the brand new Trap movie. This movie gave us a look at our newest psychological thriller, and I have to say I am impressed with how this movie turned out. I read a lot of negative reviews online and a lot of YouTube videos of people saying that this movie sucked and it didn't make any sense, but I for one think that this movie was incredible. The way this guy was maneuvering was absolutely insane. It makes you think, what would you do if you were ever in any of these situations? Hopefully you're not in the situation where you gotta escape because they set up a trap to catch you since you're a serial killer. But that's besides the point. It gets you thinking, it keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it is the most entertaining movie that I've seen in theaters this year. If you want to know all of my reasons on why I did enjoy this Trap movie, then stay until the end of the video because today we are going to be going into my full review of Trap. Now I do want to say yes, this will include some spoilers, so if you don't want any spoilers then click off of this video now. Otherwise, go ahead and grab yourself a snack and a drink, sit tight, and let's get into it. So this movie follows our main character Cooper Adams, and he's actually taking his daughter to a concert as a reward for her good grades. While Cooper's looking around the place, he notices a really beefed up security. He sees cops everywhere, they're questioning people, they're covering every entrance and every exit. So with curiosity getting the better of him, he takes his daughter to the merch stand to get her a shirt, and he asks the vendor there what is up with all of this extra security everywhere around the arena. That's when the vendor, aka Jamie, tells him that the FBI plans to catch a serial killer known as the Butcher. They found out that he was actually going to be in attendance here at the concert, and this entire concert was set up just to be a trap. Up until this point, if you haven't seen the trailers, then you might think, oh, this guy is going to be running from a serial killer and trying to protect his daughter, but he goes to the bathroom and pulls out his phone and he sees security footage of someone he has held captive. Cooper, aka the father and the main character in this movie, is actually the Butcher, and the police are all here and setting up this trap just to catch him. Now they don't know it is him yet, obviously. They don't know who the Butcher is. They just somehow heard that he was going to be at this concert. This is when we start seeing just how brilliant Cooper is. He is really good at what he does, and he's able to take police radios. He takes a key card to get into access points that normal people aren't allowed into, and he's doing all of this to find out as much information as possible from any police presence that might be somewhere in the building. There is also a point where he puts oil into a deep fryer and then it explodes in the kitchen, causing commotion just so he can get outside and try and get some information from some more officers. Everything this guy was doing was very calculated, and he's very good at what he does. He was very smart and brilliant. There was absolutely no hesitation in his steps. So it kind of makes you think at certain points during this movie, this guy is going to get away. He's going to go straight out of the door. They're not even going to know it's him. And that is how I felt throughout most of the movie. I'm telling you guys, the things that he was doing was very calculated. But now you have to remember, he is also at this concert with his daughter, so he's trying to simultaneously be there with his daughter while going out and finding out all of this information. So he keeps disappearing, he keeps popping back up and getting back with her, and she's like, what are you doing? You're acting really weird. I just want you to watch this concert with me. And he keeps having to come up with some excuse like, oh, your friend's mom stopped me, or oh, I had to use the bathroom. Whatever it is, I left my credit card at the merch stand. All of these are excuses that he's giving his daughter to try and make her think that absolutely nothing is going on, while in reality, he's going around to every like 5-10 minutes just trying to find out more information so he can stay clear of the police. Also, throughout this movie, he uses the police radio and a headset to listen to the police and what they are saying. He does this just to make sure that they are not on his trail, because the second he hears something, he is out. We get to a certain point in the movie when Lady Raven, who is the pop star in this movie putting on this concert, she gets to a song called Dream Girl, and I guess every time she does the Dream Girl song, she picks a girl out of the audience to come up and dance with her, and the Dream Girl supposedly gets backstage access with Lady Raven. So as soon as Cooper hears this, obviously he is on it. He goes up to one of the workers, who ends up being Lady Raven's uncle, and he tells him, hey, we really appreciate being here. My daughter just got over leukemia. She feels like she's cursed, like everything bad always happens to her. Obviously, hearing this, the guy working for Lady Raven, aka her uncle, he goes and picks Riley to be the dream girl. So Riley and Cooper end up being able to walk up to the stage. Riley dances with Lady Raven and they end up getting their backstage access. And Cooper is still doing really smart things in the process. He sees a girl about to pass out, so he catches her and he takes her to the back and takes care of her, making him look like a really, really good person. So just in case anyone is on his trails, he might be able to throw them off with this. So the show finally ends. They are backstage and he says, hey, can we leave through the back doors to get to our car? One of these workers says, yes, that is fine, but you have to go through this security checkpoint, at which point Cooper looks at the door and there's like 6 or 7 security guards just waiting. So learning this, he asks Lady Raven one more time, can he speak to her alone? And he brings up his daughter's illness again, and they go into her dressing room and he tells her, I think you guys are looking for me. And she's like, what are you talking about? And this is when he turns around his phone and shows her the guy that he has held captive. He says, you are going to take us in your limo and you are going to take us out of here, and if you tell a soul about anything at all, this guy is going to die. This was a big twist that I was not expecting. The second he finally fessed up to Lady Raven, I was very surprised. So Lady Raven follows the instructions. They all get into the limousine and they leave, but it's at this point she gets the bright idea to ask Riley if she can come and visit her home. Obviously the father doesn't want this, but Riley and her mother, they are ecstatic. So they go to Riley's house and Lady Raven comes inside to visit, and without trying to be too obvious to Cooper, she's talking to the mom about how this whole concert was kind of set up to try and find this butcher guy. She gives more and more details on how he drives a black car and he's probably a white male in his 30s or 40s. At this point, Cooper stands up and stops her. He says, you must be really, really tired. We gotta get you out of here. You can go home. Then she says, can I play a song on the piano? So she goes and plays a song on the piano with Riley, and while playing the song, she takes Riley's phone, and after the piano, she says, let's take a selfie. Obviously, Riley doesn't have her phone, so Lady Raven snatches Cooper's phone and says, here, we'll use your dad's phone. At this point, she gets up and says, I have to use the bathroom, so she runs to the bathroom with Cooper's phone, and she goes live, and she tells everybody about this guy that Cooper is holding hostage. Cooper absolutely snaps. He's banging on the door, he takes his family somewhere, there is a very loud commotion, and he grabs Lady Raven and takes her to the car, and he says, put this blindfold on, we are leaving. At this point, the garage door opens and his family is waiting. Cooper accidentally miscalculated. He put them in Riley's bedroom, which has a window next to a large tree, so they were able to climb out of the window and get down the tree to escape. The police show up to Cooper's house, but he, at this point, being the smart person that he is, has already set something up to throw them off of his trails. He has a secret access point to the neighbor's house, so he makes that clearly visible, making it look like he went through the access point, but somehow, some way, he gets into Lady Raven's limousine, and he ends up driving her before revealing himself. But this disguise doesn't last long either, because police do catch up to him, and he somehow switches out of his SWAT suit into Lady Raven merchandise and fitting in with the crowd to escape yet again. It's at this point where if the movie takes any bad turn, it is gonna be now, because he shows up back at his house to his wife and he asks her what she knows, because he knows that she is the reason that he is all caught. She confesses that she always suspected that he was the butcher, and she left his receipt for the Lady Raven concert in the vacant stash house, or his safe house, where he went to plan his next murders. And that is how the police knew this whole time that the butcher was going to be in attendance at this concert. So at this point, Cooper says that he is going to take care of his wife and then take care of himself, but his wife says, can we please finish Riley's celebration pie? And at this point, she knows that Cooper is very, very OCD, so he might want to finish the pie and not leave just 1 or 2 pieces left in it. So they begin to finish the pie while Cooper goes on a very, very bad tangent to Rachel, talking about how he is angry and he's so upset and he'll never see his kids again and it's all Rachel's fault. At this point, he looks down and figures out that Rachel actually poisoned his piece of pie with some pills that she found from his stash that I'm assuming he used on his victims. So at this point, Cooper starts to hallucinate and he sees his mom, and this is where we find out that his mom is apparently the reason that Cooper is this crazy serial killer. They had a very strained relationship. She didn't like the way he was, he didn't like the way she was, and this is possibly the culmination of what happens. So he sees her at the doorway and she's talking about his behavior and his emotion, but it ends up actually just being the special agent profiler who has been following him since the beginning. So the police apprehend him at this point and they start taking him to the SWAT truck, but before they get in, he says, "Please, can I pick up my daughter's bike?" Him being OCD, he wants to pick it up, make sure it's neat, so he takes out the kickstand and he picks it up so it's not laying on the ground anymore. But it's at this point we get one more shot of his hands and the bicycle, and he took a spoke off of the bicycle to pick the locks on his handcuffs. So he escapes the handcuffs in the back of the SWAT truck, and that is how the movie ends. So anything after that is up to your imagination. He could have escaped, he could have gotten all the way to the police station and then just locked back up again. There is no telling what happened, but Cooper is the smartest serial killer I have ever seen in a movie. And I say that without trying to give him too much praise, because let's remember, he is still a serial killer, okay? He's a bad guy, but he is a very, very smart bad guy, and he's very good at what he does. We get one more scene in the credits, and that's when his friend Jamie from the concert, aka the vendor who told him everything about the butcher, is watching the news, and he learns the identity of the butcher is Cooper. He goes crazy, obviously, because he was just talking to this guy and telling him everything that he knew, but that's how convincing Cooper was. Nobody would have suspected he was a killer at all. From top to bottom, I think this movie was really, really good. It was very suspenseful, it was very smart. I liked the way they played every single character in this movie. I liked seeing Cooper's mind working and how he was going to escape a certain situation, because that's basically the entire movie. They're throwing something at him and he is so smart he's able to reverse it and get out. So instead of a horror movie, this is more of a thriller. It's very suspenseful, it's very mysterious, and it is the most entertaining movie that I've seen in theaters this year. Would I recommend you guys to go and see Trap? Of course I would recommend you guys to go and see Trap. It was a very good movie, well worth my money. I've spent money for movies that I wish I could unwatch, and this was definitely not one of those scenarios. So if you guys are a little bit skeptical, then go and watch Trap for yourself. It is in theaters now. It just came out a few days ago. I'm aware I'm a few days late, but I kind of procrastinated a little bit. If you enjoyed this video, then please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're going to subscribe to the channel, then you might as well click the notification bell as well, because it is literally right there. My name is Haydxn. It was an absolute pleasure having you here on the channel, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. Peace!